Hey, functional bodybuilders. I'm here to talk about a very, very controversial movement, which is the Jefferson Curl. I want to introduce this in such a way to help you overcome maybe some fear that you might have about executing this movement. And here's how we're going to start. One of the most fundamental assessment tools that we do in a mobility screen when people come into our system for individual coaching is called the standing forward fold or a toe touch. And what we do is we say, hey, stand, relaxed, and bend down and touch your toes. And in doing that, we get a very, very general understanding of what is their hamstring flexibility, or more globally, how well is their posterior chain, how mobile is it, and how well can they bend down and touch their toes. So all the tissue from the back of your head all the way down to your heels and the bottoms of your feet impact this ability to bend down with straight legs and touch your toes. And so many people will complain of back stiffness, leg stiffness. I can't touch my toes. I want to improve that. Well, one way to improve doing the standing toe touch or the forward fold is to do it regularly. Bend down, touch your toes, hold, come back up. Doing that daily improves your flexibility. If you want to get really nuanced about it, you can create mobility programs that are essentially just touch your toes more often. Another way that we improve flexibility is through strength training. Muscles, your ability to have better range of motion depends on the health of the tissue, but also your brain has to feel confident to go into positions where it feels strong. If it feels weak at the end range, it's not going to go there. Why? Because that's a vulnerable place for it to be. A vulnerable place means you could potentially get injured, and so your brain has mechanisms of stopping you with tightness so that you don't go in those areas. So we use strength training and flexibility training, which is essentially just body weight strength training, to get you better flexibility. Okay, all of that said, that's the groundwork. The Jefferson's Curl is strength training and mobility training for all of your posterior chain. That's all it is. It's not a deadlift. And when people look at it, they say, hey, that's a very bad form for a deadlift. Disconnect it with deadlifting. Deadlifting, as most people understand it, is picking things up off the ground for maximal weight or heavy weight. This exercise can be progressed to something heavy, but it will likely never get close to your maximal deadlift weight. It's not supposed to. We're simply using weight to assist in mobility training, which is just strength through an extended range of motion. Now, I've said enough, and I want to show you a couple things. When I do the Jefferson's Curl, I'm going to show it without weight, and then I'm going to show it with some weight. The Jefferson's Curl is simply a forward fold, but we're doing it with more intention. We're doing it with an intention of making every single step in the spine segmentally curl forward. I want to curl forward from the top, down, and reverse it back up. What that looks like is tucking my chin, rolling my shoulders forward, and then slowly, step by step, curling my back down with straight legs until I reach my end range, and then I reverse it out. So you should be practicing Jefferson's Curl with the same mechanics that I'm showing you with no weight. Becomes a very safe exercise. The rolling of the shoulders forward is just helping exaggerate the flexion of the thoracic spine. Now, when you're ready, this is 20 pounds total. This is a trainer bar with some 5-pound plates on each side. When you're ready, you can pick up a light barbell, a PVC pipe with a 5-pound plate around it, you name it. You can start as light as you want, but when you're feeling ready, this will enhance the stretch because it's now going to use a little bit of load and get you stronger at those end ranges. With this position, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tuck the chin,
roll the shoulders forward, and then start to curl all the way down.
Back up. And you'll see people execute this exercise on top of a box, because what happened just now is that I got down, the barbell touched the floor before I reached my end range of motion. I have more room to go in my flexibility and my mobility, so I would want to be on an even higher elevated surface than this to get the best value out of this tool and this movement. One last thing that I'll say is that this movement can progress through load or through toe position or ankle position. Now what I mean by that is there's such a thing as a toe elevated Jefferson curl. What you could do for that is you could put your feet on a slant board and perform the same exercise. And because of the angle of my toes and my feet, I'm actually getting a much deeper stretch in throughout the heel cord, throughout my hamstring, throughout my glutes, throughout my upper and lower back, and I get to be pulling myself a little bit further in the range of motion. So those are my tips on the on the Jefferson curl, and I hope my introduction to that helps you feel a bit safer in executing this movement and knowing why you're doing it. The intention behind it is to make you stronger, more flexible, and healthier in your back and all throughout your lower body. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. See you next time.